So I'm here today with someone that I really admire, Son Hyunwoo, and he speaks English very well. A lot of people think though that you have to live abroad to really learn English well, to speak fluently. But have you ever lived abroad?
Nope.
Really?
No.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Okay.
Okay, so my name is Hyunwoo, Son Hyunwoo, and I am from Gwangju, Jeollado, Gwangju, from South Korea. And I've learned English here in Korea without living abroad. I don't think it's a bad thing to necessarily study abroad, but I believe you can learn any language without living in a country where it's spoken as people's native language.
인정. I totally agree. Do you remember what life was like before knowing English? How did you feel when you saw a foreigner?
So the first time I saw a foreign person was when I was in high school, and I was scared. Well, I think it was mainly because I had only seen foreign-looking people on TV and in books, and they were mostly white. I didn't, really have a concept, in my head.
Everybody learns English in Korea from a young age, but what made you get serious about really improving your English?
I was considered to be bad at English by many people. I also wanted to enter this specific high school. I took a test for it, but I failed, and one of the main reasons was that my English score wasn't high enough. So I wasn't considered to be good at English at all, and also the test score just made it official. So I felt frustrated, and I didn't really like the feeling that I had back then. So I didn't want to be stuck in this state. I wanted to overcome that situation.
Yeah, I totally understand.
I had been, of course, taking classes in middle school, but then as soon as I entered high school, I really started learning to speak this language.
You speak very well now, but how long do you think it took for you to be able to speak this well? How long?
So I think it's a very slow and gradual, linear process. But I think it took me about 2 years before I could freely converse with people.
Express yourself,
Yeah, so I obviously didn't know all the words I needed, but I could talk around the
That's
words.
it. That's it.
If I didn't know the word for 냉장고, which is a refrigerator, I would say, the big white box where you put food to chill the food. So, and then people will get, they will get the idea, oh, you mean a refrigerator. The moving staircase, escalator, and I will know the word. So until I reached the point where I could talk around a more difficult word, I think it took about two years.
What other languages do you speak now? Because I know you like language.
So English is my strongest language, of course, after Korean. My Korean is much better than my English, obviously. And also I speak Japanese and French. And I can understand quite a bit of Spanish and Chinese.
Wow!
If you could give the most simple, easy tip for people learning English right now, what would that be? Something that they can do today.
Keep a journal, because once you start keeping a journal, like a daily journal, where you write down everything you did that day, everything that came to your mind, and start writing, you realize how much you don't know. How to express certain things in that language. So, what did I do? I bought this. How do I say buy in English? And you write it down.
That's right.
But then you bought it. You did it in the past tense. Oh, what's the past tense for buy? You look it up. Suddenly you have this urge to express things. So find things that you want to express in English, and then start from there.
Do you want to say anything else about your business that people can look you up at?
I do have a personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/everfor1, and I also run a business which you are visiting right now. Talk to Me in Korean is a YouTube channel where we teach Korean, the Korean language, in English. So maybe if you check out our channel, Talk to Me in Korean, maybe you will also find it useful for your English learning efforts.
Hello.
Hi.
So what do you do here in Korea?
I worked in an import-export company.
Okay. With this company, you're working a lot with other countries, I assume.
Right. Mostly Chinese and Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you speak Chinese or Japanese?
I only speak a little bit of Chinese, but not Japanese.
So the majority of the communication probably takes place in English, right?
Right.
Yeah. What do you think would be the best food to eat every day on an island if you were there for 3 years without any other friends?
Oh, that's a hard question. I would eat 볶음밥,
볶음밥, why?
fried rice. I don't know. I don't really get bored. I don't get tired of the rice
Yeah.
if I eat every day. I like other food too, but 볶음밥 is one of my favorite food. And
You like it?
yeah,
Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert?
extrovert.
Extrovert? What do you think the advantages to being an introvert are?
You get to think a lot maybe before you speak,
Yeah.
and maybe people would think that you're more mature if I'm introvert. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. So do you have any advice to anybody who's studying English?
Watch a lot of American dramas.
Dramas are good, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, and speak to as many foreigners as possible.
Yeah, English native speaking foreigners, I
Yeah,
guess you mean.
right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My name is Steve, or Seungwon in Korean.
So, what are your hobbies? What do you do for fun?
I like to play soccer with my friends a lot.
Yeah.
Or if I'm alone, I play like drums. Or,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like musical instruments.
Have you ever done like busking or anything like that in Korea?
No, I think you need a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah?
I don't like to do that in front of other people. So.
I think you have courage.
Oh, really?
So, what'd you do yesterday?
Yesterday, I actually just came back from my honeymoon. And she's my wife over there.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Amazing! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
You look so young though.
Yeah, I am young, but I just got married early, and yeah, it was great.
Wow!
Just came back.
How did you meet your girlfriend? I'm always curious how couples met.
okay.
It's so interesting.
First, we met at a church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I go to church.
right.
And then I asked her out a couple of times, and then
Couple times.
and then she's kind of like, no, right? And then-
Oh, this is
so I
like
kinda-
this is like a movie.
yeah, so I like followed her around for like at least a month, and then I kind of got her. It's like,
And then she was like, "All right, I'll give you a chance."
yeah.
All right.
And that was 5 years ago, and now we're married.
Wow, the happy ending.
That's a very happy ending.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
It's a
you.
beautiful story.
Yeah.
What's one thing you want to tell foreigners about Korean society or Korean culture that you think a lot of people wouldn't know?
Maybe in America or other foreign countries, it's really easy to say hi to like strangers when you go walk around. But
Yeah.
then I guess it's not really a Korean thing to just walk up to strangers and say hello.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is,
what are you saying?
if you come to Korea
Yeah.
and then you want to say hi to Koreans, and if they ignore you, like don't get hurt. It's
Yeah.
just they're really shy.
That's good advice for us. Koreans can learn English. Yes, anybody can do it.
Yes, they can.
That's right. Thank you, brother.
What would you do if a person talks behind your back? You know what you should say?
What?
Don't talk about me behind my back.
Talking.
What's up? What's up?
What do you do if someone's talking?
I would say I'm not a big fan of that, so I would confront that person.
Not a
and
big
then,
fan of you.
Yeah, bye. Just bye.
Cool. 멋있다, 멋있다. Badass. What's your name?
My name is Nate, and my Korean name is Kim Woo-jin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, what are you doing these days? Are you working?
No, I prepare to do the part-time job right now, and I'm actually preparing for application for graduate school.
Yeah.
So until next year, July or something, I'm just gonna stay here doing some part-time job, get some allowance or pocket money.
Yeah.
And we're doing a band, so
You play music.
yeah, I play electric guitar.
So, what are you going to study in school?
Well, I majored in mathematics and statistics, double major
Holy moly.
in my undergrad, and I'm probably gonna study about data science when I go to graduate school. So I'm really good with numbers.
Yeah. Do you think it's good for boys and girls to go to separate schools when they're younger, or do you think they should go to the same schools?
I think they should go to the same school because like I went to men's high school in South Korea.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun because there were only guys.
Yeah.
But there's just some like particular things that you can't learn only with the guys. So I think they should go to school together.
What would those things be?
Like how to treat a girl like properly, like be respectful and like those kind of things.
So you think it's important for young men to be socialized in that way when they're young?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Before going abroad to the U.S., what were some stereotypes about the U.S. that you had that after having gone to the U.S. have changed subsequently?
Well, I was in the Utah state, and the Utah states there are like 90% of the populations are white, unlike other states.
Okay.
So like for example, like California, we can see a lot of Asians and Mexicans and Hispanic. For example, like when you go to the McDonald's in Los Angeles, like most of them are Mexicans, but in Utah, especially like near Salt Lake City area, like most of them are white. So I thought, oh, this is like different. And
So a lot less diversity in Utah. 시간을 내주셔서 감사합니다.